Hey everyone, welcome to Thursdays at 3. I'm your host, Jason Crespin. So glad that you guys are joining us today, January 13th, 2022. A lot going on at the Amarillo Little Theater. Here to fill you in on more on when tickets are going on sale, when events are coming up, auditions coming up, all that good stuff. Before we begin, though, because I would be amiss if I did not say happy birthday to Dakota. My boyfriend's birthday's today, the 13th. So happy birthday, Dakota. Also, happy birthday Eve to our very own Carrie Huckabee. Tomorrow is Carrie's birthday. So happy birthday today to Dakota. And happy birthday soon to Miss Carrie Huckabee. Y'all, we've had a great week so far at ALT. A lot of things going on. You may have forgotten, but of course, right around the corner is ALT Academy classes. That's right, our Academy classes begin back up on Tuesday. Of course, with Monday being the holiday, Tuesday, our classes start back up. So if you have yet to register, head on over to our Facebook page, our website, click on the Academy homepage, and you can click on the classes there. You'll see our full spring class schedule. We have classes from all ages, from kids to adults. Definitely check out our spring class list. 3 easy ways to register. Of course, you can click on classes and register online or in person. Swing by the box office here at 2019 Civic Circle or call our phone number 355-9991. A lot of our classes are full right now, which is great. That's awesome. If there's a class that you're interested in, call, because there's probably a wait list for it and they're trying to figure out all that wait list information about potentially adding some classes or different things like that. So give the box office a call if there's a class that you are interested in. And don't forget, if you are planning on auditioning this coming weekend, that's right, Sunday and Monday, for Tuck Everlasting with our Academy. Of course, directed by Academy Director Michaela Guerin, music direction by Brandon Beller, and choreography by Beth Alexander. If you are ready to go for those auditions, you must be enrolled in a Spring Academy class. So be sure to get signed up for a class. And then, of course, sign up for those auditions. You'll have to sign up for a time slot. That's going to be a great, fun show, and very excited. Right around the corner, it's going to be the spring musical already, which is great. So definitely, if you know anyone that's interested, get them on board to sign up for some classes. Cabaret, of course, is also rehearsing over at the Adventure Space. The production of Cabaret, don't forget, runs February 3rd through the 20th. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic production. And we had a meeting, in fact, a little while ago, just nailing down, if you have yet to hear about the Cabaret experience, you will be getting an email probably by the end of today with all of the information, or you may even be getting an invitation in the mail. But the Cabaret experience, it's going to be awesome. It says, enter a decadent world of passion and intrigue, experience the underworld in an immersion of mystery and danger. I can do a sneak peek of what the invitation looks like. How cool is that? February 11th and 12th. It's going to be basically a huge immersive experience at the Adventure Space. You'll be walking into the Kit Kat Club. You'll be experiencing, it says they're an aerialist and a jazz band and just so many cool things. There'll be food, there'll be drinks. You guys are definitely going to want to experience this awesome event. You have to make reservations before February 4th. Guys, I'm telling you, they're pulling out all the stops. I should have uploaded a photo. If you haven't heard, the mural at the Adventure Space, gone. It's gone. Thank you to board members Donna and Bonnie, who painted that yesterday. Of course, Tana Robertson, who helped with that as well. But we are getting everything ready for this experience. Of course, we'll be adding another new mural to that this summer, but there's going to be awesome things going on February 11th and 12th. That's not to say the show itself is not going to be awesome. You're definitely going to want to get your tickets for the show. But if you're looking at something maybe a little extra for Valentine's Day, or you're looking for a little something extra just to add to the show, mark your calendars February 11th and 12th, starting at 6:30 for the Cabaret experience. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So you're going to want to call and get tickets for that. Get on the RSVP list for that. It's going to be absolutely great. And so more information, check your emails, check your mailboxes. That information is going to be coming your way this week. Also, of course, we always ask for volunteers. Anyone that's interested in volunteering at the Little Theater, contact our volunteer coordinator, Lissa at amarillo-littletheater.org, or you can always call the box office, 806-355-9991. We are getting, the information out for, we're going to be needing ushers, people who work concession for Murder on the Orient Express right around the corner. Got an hour to spare, spend it with ALT, come volunteer. We would love to have you guys. And then, if you haven't heard by now, y'all, we have a great show coming up this month, Murder on the Orient Express. It's a great classic Agatha Christie book, of course, made into 2 movies that have done really well in the box office. This is adapted by Ken Ludwig, a great playwright, knows comedy very well. In fact, the Agatha Christie estate selected Ken Ludwig. They said, here's the story, please make an adaptation for the stage, and did a great job. A lot of people, of course, remember our production of Baskerville a couple seasons ago. That was a Ken Ludwig production, and so you guys are in for a treat. And we have 2 phenomenal actors with us today that are part of our show. So help me welcome Mr. Rob Attaway and Melanie Sanders. Hey guys, how are y'all? You're quiet.
How are you?
I was like, did I lose audio?
Oh, we have to talk on this thing?
You're like, what? Nobody, no.
We
Mel, your agent only
pretty.
booked. Yeah, your Mel's agent only booked visuals, no audio for her. We have to, yeah. That's extra. We have to pay extra for those. Rob and Mel, I feel like the whole holidays, I just felt like I spent with you guys. I feel like come January, 31st, I'm gonna be like, where are my people? Where are my people? I miss them. We've been spending so much time together. You guys have been in, of course, rehearsals the past couple weeks, or past couple months, really, on this production. First off, how are you guys doing today? Happy Thursday. Y'all having a good day so far?
So far?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Best
good,
day.
good.
So
Best
good.
day. Ooh, that's great. Yes, I love that. We, of course, know, Melanie, you've been a part of the Amarillo Little Theater for several years. You have created some fantastic roles. I think you've only done plays, though, correct? No musicals, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
I could do
we
a
gotta change
musical,
that,
but it
Mel.
would be a painful experience for all involved. So
No, lies. Mel, I don't remember what year it was, but I believe your first show with ALT was Kimberly Akimbo, correct? At the Adventure Space.
2004.
2004. Okay, I knew it was like one of the first shows over at the Adventure Space, or for kind of towards the first seasons, if you will. And so, and of course, have done phenomenal shows since then. Of course, in Doubt and God of Carnage. We got to be in productions of Anna in the Tropics. We had a great production of another murder, or a kind of whodunit, if you will. I think it's Stephen Sondheim's only play that he wrote, which was Getting Away with Murder, which was not really, no plot twist to ruin it, but Mel and I both passed away in that show. We got pushed down an elevator shaft. Yes. I got murdered twice. Act 1, I was one character that got killed, and then Act 2, another
And I think we got killed like pretty early too. So we had like a ton of time backstage to just like mess around and get into things.
Mel and Act 2, so just and then, of course, Rob, this is your second show with us. Of course, you were in the production of Sound of Music earlier this season, but you're kind of one of our new guys that has joined our ALT family. Although you've not been new to ALT, because Claire has been a student of the Academy since Honk, I believe, correct?
Yeah, Honk was her first
No,
show.
She took classes before Honk, correct?
She did, but that was her first show, yeah.
So you've kind of been involved, and then for some reason you were like, I think I'm gonna put my foot in that water and Sound of Music, and you and your lovely wife Rebecca were in that show. I want to kind of find out from both of you what made you kind of want to audition when you saw Murder on the Orient Express, or Rob, maybe after Sound of Music. What made you guys think, Mel, of course, earlier this season, Calendar Girls for you as well. What made you guys think, I want to do another one this season? I think I want to try my hand at Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, you've been on me a little bit, Jason, about auditioning for a little while now. And then my friend Patrick Burns also kind of was trying to pull me in and just saying, you got to audition. So when Sound of Music auditions were posted, it kind of was a natural fit because I have 4 kids, and me and my wife, and we both sing, and our whole family sings. And so it's like, oh, you could be the Von Trapp family all by yourselves just about. So
Right. Yeah.
and so when we kind of decided to audition for that show, and we looked at the whole season, and I kind of had this one pegged as well as that'd be a fun show to audition for. So I think before even Sound of Music auditions, I was thinking about Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's good that and obviously we did something right during Sound of Music that made you want to come back. So that's good.
Oh my goodness.
You were like, I'm
everything
running.
right.
You weren't running for the Alps to get out of That's good. Mel, what about you? Calendar Girls, and then this show, was this on your radar from the get-go as well? Or were you like, oh, I have some more time, I think. Yeah.
Agatha Christie is among my top 5 authors. I have literally read everything she's written, including the 4 plays. So there's that. And then, of course, accent work. I'm like Robin Williams in that I've never met an accent that I wouldn't try, which sometimes gets me in trouble,
You've done a lot of accents.
I was
y'all get ready.
Bangladeshi, and then I realized, middle-aged white lady. That's probably not the.
Hey, our viewers though, they need to prepare themselves because Melanie's accent work is tremendous.
Everyone, you as well. Everyone's accent is fantastic. Mel, though, I remember in auditions when you brought in that accent, I was like, "Oh, this is hilarious!" It was so good.
I hadn't done Russian since high school. Yeah, so
okay. I will say this because it killed in the audition, and I almost wish if we were playing it a little more with as a farce, if you will, I would have said, "Let's do this." There was a great a time in Mel's audition when she was auditioning, and she had to say the word murder. But she was tripping up on the word murder in her accent. And so she was going at it and she's like, you killed, or he killed her. Like, she just changed the word to kill, and it brought the house down. I died.
Biggest laugh in the whole audition. It was so funny. It
was perfect. But you have now mastered how to say it, murdered.
The challenge is you can only roll one of the 2 R's. Otherwise you're up there just murder. Kind of, it's just then it's
like
a perfect that kind of thing. So.
Then it gets into the Scottish, and I love that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about accents. With you guys and the whole cast, how did you guys, approach your work for your characters with your accents? Well, we should first say, Mel, who are you playing in the show?
Princess Dragomirov, Natalia Dragomirov. She's old Russian nobility. Who's, of course, in exile since the Bolshevik Revolution, which, she's not best pleased about. And then for me, with accent work, and where a character has that or something, if I can hear it, I can usually replicate it with some practice. Yeah. So the problem
I have to hear it too. I have to hear over and over again the accents.
But if I stand next to Rob and he's doing his really strong Michel, then suddenly a French accent slips out. So that's the downfall of really enjoying doing accents is, I could drop into Scottish and Swedish and
all of the accents in the show. Rob, who do you play in the show?
I play Michel, the conductor of the Orient Express. Professional and trusty conductor, very, very good at his job, and
a hard worker. He takes working very seriously,
very much.
Like he's going to be the one at the office party that makes sure if you got 2 slices of cake, he would tell. He would be like, they got 2 slices.
He's the one picking up all the solo cups at the end.
Yep, he is. Oh yeah, for sure.
Keep everything ordered and on schedule.
Yes. How did you go about developing your accent?
Yeah, I actually watched a few of the productions of Murder on the Orient Express that are out there. You mentioned there's a couple movies, and then there's also some TV series. BBC has a production of it that's phenomenal. So I watched a few of those, and then I also just got on YouTube and just started listening to native French speakers that were giving interviews in English, and I'm kind of like Mel. I try to absorb it. I listen to the way that they form their words and different vowels and consonants, and then I also just watched a little bit of some some French language coaches that are to try to get a sense of it, and then just lots of practice.
Yeah, yeah. And you guys have been practicing. I mean, from the get-go, like day one, accents. Like, you know what I mean? There was never like no. You guys brought it like first table read. You were already going into accent work, which is great. For those people who may not know, what is Murder on the Orient Express about? Of course, without giving any spoilers. But Mel, how would you describe the show?
So it's very much what they would call a parlor style murder mystery, in that it takes place in a fairly contained area. There's a group of seemingly random travelers that all get together for a train trip from Istanbul to eventually London, England, as their, the final destination, which there'll have to be a boat involved at some point there. But anyway, obviously a murder happens. That's in the title, so no spoiler there. And Hercule Poirot, who is arguably Agatha Christie's most famous literary detective, it happens to have a berth on the train, and of course does what he does to solve the murder.
Yeah. And meets all these crazy characters.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I love it. It's set, in the 1930s, and so that era of costumes and hairstyles and we've gotten some great costumes that we've rented, of course, and wigs as well. And you guys we had our Globe News press photos that we did this earlier this week, and just seeing you guys in full costumes and makeup and it was so exciting with of course the set that we've created as well. I think that's been a fun part for us, seeing you guys rehearse so many times. It's now adding all those different layers that just gets me so excited for the show. I'm telling you, our audiences are going to absolutely not only love the work that you guys are doing, but how you guys look as well. I think everything is just so perfectly period for this show. Of course, we talked last week about how we had so many people audition for this show. And so when you guys, I mean, both of you guys were kind of up for different parts and different things like that. We feel like we have the perfect cast of where everyone kind of got put. When you saw the cast, let's go up. I'll start with you, Mel. There's new names, but there's also names that you hadn't worked with, I'm sure. How was that for you? I mean, I'm sure you were excited to be involved with coming off of, Calendar Girls with Carrie, getting to be in that show, another show with her. And we talked last week, Jenny was so excited to finally work with you in a show. So how was that for you?
That is actually one of my favorite things about doing shows at ALT. I love when we have newcomers, because I know it's not going to be the only show they ever do. They're going to be back, and they're going to do more shows, and it's just a wider and more diverse and more talented talent pool that we have to pull from for future shows. And that's wonderful. And you've been around, of course, a little bit longer than I have, Jason, but I remember the days when I would show up for an audition, and there would be 5 parts and there would be 5 people at the audition. So to me, to walk into an audition, where there's 5 roles and there's 30 people waiting to audition, first of all, of course, it's a little intimidating, because you're like, woo, you got to bring your A game. But also, too, it's exciting. You've got people to work with and to play off of, and it's just so much more enjoyable. So I love it. I love how we still, with nearly every audition and every season, we still get new and talented and diverse people coming in. So I really enjoyed that about this show.
Mel, did we lose Jason? I think we might have lost him. So it's just me and you now.
Oh, well, have at it.
I agree with you about the intimidation, but the excitement of it, because we knew from the first moment of the first audition, this is going to be a strong cast, just because you could see the talent in the room. You've done a lot more auditions than I have. And so I was maybe more intimidated going into that, but it was a nervousness, but it was an excitement. This is going to be a really good show, and it pushes you to bring your best to that audition. And but that said, I walked away, from the callbacks, and I feel like I had a good idea of what the cast list was going to look like, just because you could see already, even in the callbacks, the characters were taking shape, and your princess was like already so strong, even in the callback, that when the cast list went up and you were cast in that role, I wasn't surprised at all. So it was pretty overwhelming experience for me. Just that whole week was crazy. I was so nervous. Think back to when your first play you auditioned for, and how nervous were you going into when that cast list was posted?
Yeah, well, terrified.
Yeah, that was me. Yes.
Yeah, it was for a show that Alan was directing, and interestingly enough, I worked at a restaurant called Marty's through college. And so I was the cocktail waitress in the back bar, and Marty's was the location where ALT would always have their cast parties. We have a cast party at the end of the opening night show. And so they would, come and take up the whole back bar for their Marty's cast parties. And I was always their cocktail waitress. So I actually knew Alan and the staff at ALT before I ever auditioned. But I also knew Alan before I auditioned. So when I first showed up to audition for it, was Proof. That was the show, my first audition. I cannot tell you how, like, when I'm super nervous, my voice is like super shaky. So I'm like in the aisle just trying to do breathing exercises just so I can like say some lines. So yeah, I have absolutely been there with,
With your phone.
We're
good now.
There seems to be, we're talking about just the cast list and how strong, how I feel just this is such a strong cast, but yet there's a mixture of, seasoned veterans like Mel and Carrie Huckabee and Michael Newman and others. And then there's new people like me that are just dipping our toe in, but the whole cast seems to have great rapport, and y'all have been so welcoming and friendly, and just seems like everybody's really clicking well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, agreed. Y'all are awesome. Our internet has been nonprofit today, so we really appreciate it. I was like, they'll be great. They'll keep it talking. It'll be awesome. And you may have already addressed this, Rob, with you being somebody new, and what advice would you give somebody who's thinking about, man, I've always wanted to audition, but that makes me nervous. Like, with you being a new person this year, auditioning for 2 shows and being a part of both of them, what advice would you give those people?
Well, I would give you a lot of advice, I guess, but a few things. One is just it is a place where it's just okay to kind of to try things and put yourself out there, and you're gonna be accepted and embraced and encouraged no matter what, even if you're not cast. I have a friend that auditioned for Murder on the Orient Express and wasn't cast in the show, but told me he was so glad that he tried it, and hopefully he'll try again. I would say familiarizing yourself with the script, if it's a play, or the book, if it's a musical or whatever. I'll say this: the auditioning for a musical and a play are very different experiences for me, but familiarize yourself with the story, with the characters, come in prepared. That was the thing. How many auditioned for Murder? 50 something people?
51. Yeah.
51 people for like 10 roles. So
yeah,
you gotta come.
Swings, though. Gotta mention the swings.
I know. Awesome swings.
Yeah.
Our swings are amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
but yeah, just coming in prepared is huge. Just that's I feel like that was kind of what set apart the people that were eventually cast in the show.
The preparation for sure. Real quick to catch up on some comments. One of your fellow cast members, Carrie Huckabee, says, thanks, Jason, about Happy Birthday Eve to Carrie. She says, what class isn't full costuming? If anyone's interested, take costuming this semester. I'm telling you guys that sewing class is awesome. Awesome. So if you're looking for an extra class, take costuming. Michaela says, if the show is as strong as you two were without a host, it's going to be great. They don't need me, Michaela. They don't need a director. I could
Thanks,
I can take
Michaela.
the night off. I'm going to take the night off there. I mean, literally, I just said, hey, stay in here. And then I got out of their way because they are phenomenal. Travis Tidmore, who got to watch rehearsal last night, he's going to be one of our crew members, says these people don't even know what they've got in store for them. Get your tickets for Murder now. We loved having kind of a mini audience last night for our crew watching, which was great. Jennifer Lashnowski says, Jason, they carried the show well despite the internet. Thanks, Jennifer. I love that. But she also says, so excited for the show, by the way. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. It's so good. And then another fellow cast member, Brooks Boyette, says, true story. I told Rob he would be Michelle after auditions. He didn't believe me. Well, there you go.
I will never
Rob,
doubt you again, Brooks.
I was like, you got to believe Brooks. Whatever Brooks tells you, you got to do now because he's obviously always right. Mel, from your perspective as somebody who's been here, obviously auditioning and doing not only in shows, you've been on the board, you've been in the guild, you've directed, you've been a part of almost every aspect of ALT. What makes you want to come back every time and continue to give time and energy to this place?
Well, first of all, you let me come back in the building, so that's on you. It sounds cliche because everybody says it, but everybody says it because it's genuinely true. ALT is a family, and even as we get bigger and we add more volunteers and we add more actors and more talent, and we have new and different board members cycle through, ALT itself as an institution is a constant. And that's a wonderful thing to have. I live out here, my closest family member is in Chicago. So, I've got a good support system and friends and all of that. But anything big that happens in my life, the first people that I want to share that with are, my ALT family. So
true.
That's, so it keeps me coming back. It's a wonderful place, and everybody belongs. Everybody fits.
Yeah. Amen. It's so true. So true. I agree.
And what you said, Mel, about, knowing that someone new to a show, that's not going to be their only show. I mean, 100%. Like I'm hooked. I know that the others that this is their first show at ALT are going to be hooked as well because of how much of a family atmosphere it is.
Yeah.
And we got to remind people, it's not just, actors. We have family members that usher. We have family members that come and work on sets and paint the sets. Or we have, our academy instructors and our academy parents and who come up and volunteer. And I mean, all of the amazing volunteers that we have, we are so blessed because they're our family members. And yes, occasionally some volunteers get to be on the stage and hear some applause, but without that, without the set, without the lights, without the program that was handed to them or ticket torn or anything like that. None of those things could have, of course, been involved. And of course, all of that comes from our amazing board, our amazing staff as well. Everyone I feel like every time somebody does something at the theater, they do it 100%. They're going to, make sure Rob found a better wire for one, set piece because we didn't have anything at the theater. And he was like, "Oh, I got this. I'll find something." And that's so because we all want it to be perfect. We all want it to find the most perfect item that we can for the show. And we talked about how we had Globe News photos earlier this week, and so today at Thursdays at 3, sneak peek. No one has seen the photo yet. We'll post it on social media afterwards, but I had this vision. I was like, oh, I want to do this kind of thing with the cast. And I think it came out pretty well. So here's our first look at the cast of Murder on the Orient Express. Boom. Look how cool everyone looks.
Oh, I love it.
That's
so
good. Get everybody's expressions.
Yeah, our Michael Newman there at the front as Hercule Poirot, but you can tell everyone's, just a suspect, if you will. I feel like it looks like a movie poster of like
some of those people look. Some are more suspect than others, I think.
Right, yeah.
Hush now, just because I'm up front there.
Right, yeah. I think also it's so fun. just, like we talked about different hairstyles and stuff like that, but the color schemes and everything like that, I'm
Yeah.
really, really pleased with how everyone's looking, which is just awesome. Right behind you guys, a sneak peek, just one room I'll show, is our dining car this isn't, this is just work lights up and stuff like that, but it has looked absolutely phenomenal. Our set, I'm telling you, our audience is in for a treat when they come see our set. We also, not giving anything, I don't want to give too much away, but there's going to be some kind of cinematic elements in our show. We did a filming of that on Friday, and then of course also on Tuesday for those pieces that will be included in the show, through some fantastic donations with Panhandle Gives and our amazing plethora of volunteers that have donated. We were able to purchase an amazing projector that we're going to be using, similar to what was used in Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Dennis Humphrey is designing our projections for that. Aiden Corona, who of course, Rob, you work with, he is doing all of our videography work for these kind of cinematic elements. Not necessarily a sneak peek, but I wanted to show kind of a backstage. That was us on Friday filming a little piece for the show, which I think is really, really exciting. The show the reason the show happens is because of a crime that has occurred in the past. And so we thought, let's film that crime and show it. And so that has been a really fun element of the show as well.
There's a little cameo. There's a little cameo there for people that know me and my family might be interested in.
Exactly. Yes.
Nice.
Right. For question for you two, because we're, I'm used to live theater, but with all of these little kind of filming that we did for, that was kind of a fun, different experience. It was a totally different rehearsal. It was very much like, okay, we got to hurry, get the shot. And then, sorry, everyone else, you got to wait. And like, just kind of wait. And then, okay, now it's you. Okay, we got to hurry, and let's get the shot. And everyone else kind of wait. And so I was like, man, there's a lot of hurry up and wait when it comes to filming.
Do you want to direct any more films anytime soon, Jason?
I'm good. I like starting at the beginning and going to the end. And yeah. Continuity is not my friend. So, we joked, we were blessed that we were still able to film Anne of Green Gables right when the pandemic hit in the Academy. We filmed it, but of course it was new to us, and we had to bring in small groups of kids in costume. They wore their costumes to the theater and makeup. We filmed them real quick, and we did that over a course of about 4 or 5 days. It was awesome. But little did we realize that Caden Burns, who was playing one of the older characters, when we watched the movie, if you will, he progressively got younger because we sprayed his hair, but like apparently we did oversprayed it at the beginning or at the end, just not, the continuity just wasn't there. So it was like one scene, he just kept getting younger and younger. And so yeah, continuity. Yeah, that's not my friend. I like live theater where it's the same every night. But I appreciate, the whole cast, Aiden Corona, everyone who is involved in those. Those are just going to add so many cool elements. Michaela Guerin there says, so cool. Yeah, it's going to add such a cool element to our show that I think audiences are going to absolutely love when they come see our show. Do we need all that? Probably not. You're all the acting that you guys are doing is phenomenal already. Like, you guys are telling the story. I just keep saying, like, these are like the sprinkles and the cherry and the whipped cream, all the extra good stuff that is it good for you? Probably not calorie wise, but it tastes really, really good.
Oh,
so yeah. So that's kind of, I think, what we're doing with this show as well. Can you guys kind of explain for audiences who are going to come see the show, or actors who have been in shows before, where are we at right now in the rehearsal process?
Well, I guess I'll go first. So we're coming into the home stretch. One of the things that I've really appreciated about this process and working with you, Jason, is not to say, but you have an extreme level of organization, and as a fellow highly detail-oriented, organized person, that helps me like just find my Zen place. So I've really appreciated that. I feel like we haven't even started Hell Week, and we got all of our costume stuff together. Most of us are, unless I forget a word or two, we're exactly where we need to be as far as lines and blocking and everything. I think the set, as a matter of fact, I don't think there's really maybe 1 or 2 things left to add, if that.
Yeah.
So we could do this show tomorrow for an audience, basically. And that's
agreed.
an amazing place to be before you ever even start Hell Week, that last week. So that's what I'm just amazed about and feel terrific about is, with this process.
And so it's really fun because now, I mean, we're not thinking as much. We're able to really immerse ourselves in the scene and listen to each other. And that's one of the notes that Jason keeps giving is just to listen to each other because no one's having to think about lines. No one's having to think about blocking. It's kind of ingrained. We're fully invested. Jason and I are fully invested in the show now.
They didn't let me have one. Why?
We Mel, it's in the Amazon list somewhere lost in Oklahoma City. It's still shipment is just.
You're right.
Okay. P.S. Funny story about shipment because poor Mel. So basically, long story short, we ordered some great shoes for Mel for the show. I was like, Mel, your shoes are in the dressing room. They were not Mel's shoes. I forgot I had ordered cabaret shoes as well. And so Mel was like, these aren't going to work. And I was like, and then like the next day I was like, sorry, Mel, I didn't give you the right shoes. So many things coming from Amazon. I'm like, what show is this for? Is this for my own
Mel
Christmas?
Has been, go ahead, Jason,
yes.
sorry.
I was just saying, like things that came to the mail I'm like, it's either my Christmas, it's either Murder on the Orient Express. I've ordered it for cabaret. Like, so who knows? One of you I might have given the wrong thing to. So I apologize, Mel, when I was like, you were like, these shoes aren't. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Later on, I realized
she's auditioning or she's rehearsing in these punk rock boots as like this, like princess, but she's wearing these awesome boots. So
they're awesome. Cool. They're such good Russian boots. They're the best.
Well, in the first pair were like a full size and a half off. And I was like, that's very odd of Jason to get a detail like that. So, but of course I didn't say anything because I'm like, the man's a genius. You don't question the genius. You just be like,
no, you were so sweet. You were like, you're like, they're not really the right size. And I was like, that's so, but the sad thing is I contacted that company. I was like, you guys sent the wrong size. I went back and I looked and I was like, I ordered the right size. You guys have sent the wrong size. I need a new pair, immediately shipped to me. And then the next day I was like, oh, I think those are Lissa's. And then had to call the company saying, just kidding. Still send the right shoes. That'd be great. But yeah, I agree. Where we're at in the show, we're adding our crew in tonight, which is going to be phenomenal. We're going to set light cues tomorrow. We'll add mics on Monday, and then just have 3-4 solid, dress rehearsals to get the show ready for our audience. But agreed, if for some reason crazy we had to do the show tomorrow, I'd be like, yep, let's do it.
And I would add this because you made a great point, Mel, about Jason's organization, but it's more than that. It's as a director, like you don't miss anything. Like your vision and what you see for the whole show. And I get what you're saying about the all the different additional things just being like the cherry on top, but the way it all fits together is going to blow people away. I really think it's going to be such a cool show. So we're having a blast. It's so much fun.
I keep telling people if everything in my head, if I get everything in my head that with projections and the set and the costumes and the wigs and the projector and if all the things come, oh my gosh. But even if one of them doesn't, oh my gosh, still. But it's one of those things where we're like, oh, I think everything we're gonna get everything. And so yeah, I'm really excited. I think people are gonna be like, that was a cool show. And you guys are just the foundation that you guys, we couldn't do any of that unless we had that strong foundation, which is you guys and the show and your lines and your characters. And we were lucky that we were running the show way earlier than we needed to because we could, and then kind of go back and then explore some other options of some choices. And it was great. I loved it. This process has been so much fun. And I'm getting to that giddy point now where oh, the lights, and oh gosh, it's gonna be so just so excited. But we want people also who come see the show. No spoilers. When you come see the show, don't give anything away. We want to keep those spoilers and secrets to yourself. Funny story, Rob, you are known for your voice and yet have really sung on our stage.
I mean, when I tell people I was in The Sound of Music, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I'm like, I sang one word in the whole show. That was it. I sang goodbye. That was my moment. as part of the ensemble. So
Well, and then now it's a play, and so at some point we'll get to experience Rob Attaway on the stage of ALT singing because his voice is phenomenal. Mel, I want to ask you, because you are so well at both. What do you prefer more? Do you prefer more dramas? Do you prefer more comedies? Like, what you've been able to be a part of great dramas for sure, but do you, this show, Mel can deliver a punchline like no other. Especially there's, not to give anything away, but Mel and Carrie have some moments that I think are just the funniest exchanges in the show. And so what do you prefer?
It's hard to say. I like different things about both of them. When I was in high school, I had a coach who told me that doing like humorous roles, funny roles, and all of that is more difficult. Just, it just takes more work. Obviously, sometimes it takes more physicality. The drama type stuff, it just depends, because I've had shows that, like August Osage County, psychologically, I mean, I'd get home from a rehearsal and I would need a minute, if you know what I mean. So, but, you also, you leave it all out there, and you left it all out there, and there's a certain sort of pride in that. But then also, when you're doing a funny play, comedy, and you hit your beats the way you're supposed to, and the audience gives you actual feedback, they're laughing and they're clapping and all of that. I mean, that's another kind of very visceral and enjoyable feeling as well. So honestly, I like doing it all. I would like to do a musical if it wouldn't be a painful thing for everybody.
Come on. Why not? I say why not?
Yeah, maybe someday.
Yeah. With this show, what have been maybe some of the challenges that you were like, oh, we didn't realize that might be a challenge? With we already kind of talked a little bit last week, the limited amount of space. There's not a lot of space when it comes to the show. It's very compact. That, of course, Rob is tall. And so we had to make sure, we have to make sure we can see Rob in the train hallway. We have to make sure, that he's not just this random, just headless body that walks back and forth.
And that he doesn't take out a light fixture, while he's walking through. So.
Yeah, exactly right. But any challenges? I mean, Mel, you're playing elderly, Russian, of course. That's not, that's certainly a challenge because you're neither elderly or Russian. But you've done so well with captivating, the different age of this character. Rob, we talked about how your strength is in singing, but man, I think people are going to be excited to be like, wow, Rob is an actor, which is so fun. And can see that. But any other challenges for you guys that have kind of been a surprise for you?
I mean, one of the amazing, I feel like, great decisions that you made and the production team made was casting swings in the show. And that, I mean, and these are obviously like good friends. So even on a personal level, it's fun to have them as part of the show. But part of what has gotten us, I think, to a really good place is being able to have those swings step in rehearsals. And that's a little bit challenging when you're acting with one person and then maybe the next day it's a different person in the same role. But the flip side is it's helped us, I feel like, keep the ball rolling.
Yeah. There was no holding a setback. It was always just propelling our work further. We should mention, of course, our amazing swings: Jeffrey Pickens, Rice Guerin, Jackie Llewellyn, and Kendall Cranhan.
I don't know how to point to them.
I know, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. They're
and just like people need to know, like their dedication is incredible because they're
explain that they're learning lines and blocking for 3 different characters in addition to being crew backstage. So, for example, Jackie is doing a Minnesota, a Russian, and a Swedish, in 3 different characters blocking. And I'm just stunned.
And still has to make sure she's getting her crew assignments done.
Pretty much. So I've just been amazed and you know,
Yeah, there are heroes
I see some
for
nice
sure.
cast gifts in the future for those.
Yeah,
They have
exactly.
worked their tails off, and it's been amazing to have. Just amazing.
Well, and it's funny every time like a cast member I see a text and I see it's a cast member, immediately I panic. I'm like, who's texting me in the middle of the day for some like,
Yeah.
oh no, and it's just like some like, hey, are we doing what time again is that, or do you need this? I found this prop or whatever. Like, okay, phew. And then, but the other day, one of our cast members wasn't feeling well. Obviously, has been tested and is not positive of any sort, but just wasn't feeling the best, and so I had to call one of our swings. And I was like, I know you probably hate. They probably hate when I call. They're like, oh God, Jason's calling. Who do I got to go in for tonight? Like, but yeah, agreed. They've been phenomenal, and it is to testament where we are in the show right now because of their great work and hard work and dedication to this show. Anything else, Mel? Anything challenging that were like, oh, that's more of a challenge than I thought it would be?
Well, you gave me a note about the physicality for her. I do have to try to remember because as a person, because I'm short, I'm a person who is somewhat vertically challenged. My stride is huge. Otherwise, everybody's leaving me behind. So, taking 4
I want
steps.
to have a walking race with you and Rob.
Yeah. And so you were like, remember, she's in her, mid to late 70s and probably wouldn't move that fast. So that's just been a challenge to remember. I'll tell you when I really feel that age, though, is when I'm trying to get off stage in the dark. Then I'm suddenly like, I'm so old, I can't see anything. So, yeah.
I love it. I love that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Matt Green says, I was already pumped for the show, but now after listening to you three, I wish the show was tomorrow. Matt, it's gonna be great. I cannot wait for
Yeah,
you
you're
guys
gonna
to
love
see
it.
it. It's gonna be such a fun show. Those of you who are wondering about how to get tickets to the show, we will, of course, want to remind you that the show runs January 20th through the 30th here at the Amarillo Little Theater main stage, the Alan Shingles main stage. Let me pull up that graphic. There it is. January 20th through the 30th. Of course, if you want to get tickets, call our box office, 806-355-9991, or you can always order your tickets online at amarillolittletheater.org. We want to remind you our shows on Thursdays are at 7:30, Fridays and Saturdays 8 o'clock, Sunday matinees at 2:30. We always, of course, have 2-for-1 on the price 2-for-1 price tickets on January 20th. That first show, students are always 2 for the price of 1. And then on our production dates of January 20th, the 23rd, and the 29th, those 3 productions are our mask required performances where audiences will all be masked for those shows. And we want to remind everyone, of course, the show is rated PG-10 and up. There's not really language at all. There's 2 times, I think. One time it's said and then it's recalled, an SOB, if you will. And then there's a couple of moments, of course, where there's murder on stage. So I feel like every time I say I have to say it, we're rating it because of murder, like which we joked about this in rehearsal, how like this one we're like, ooh, there's murder, we gotta warn everyone. I didn't warn anyone in Wizard of Oz that there was murder. I mean, house fell on a witch, another girl threw water on another witch, killed her. The wizard was like, yo, little girl, can you go kill this person for me? I didn't warn anyone. I just said, come on down, see the Wizard of Oz. So I love it. I love what we all.
I mean, you know what play you're coming to see, right? Like it's in the title. So come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just the one. I mean, we do kind of contain ourselves to just the one. So,
Maybe one night, maybe the last show, just everyone's killed.
Yeah. Spoiler, they all die.
Yeah, just everyone's just on the train tracks, just done for. We hope though, we hope you guys book your tickets because tickets are going so fast, of course, already. Get your tickets soon. It's going to be, if you've ever thought about coming to ALT, if you've come to ALT before this, maybe the season you saw, maybe you're just a play person, a musical person. Maybe you just came to see Rob not sing in Sound of Music. Maybe, come try this play. I'm telling you, it's going to be a theatrical experience for sure. We're kind of doing some different elements with this show, with some projections and some kind of just, I call it my Murder, She Wrote way of unveiling the evidence and the murder and kind of who did it. And so come enjoy this great night at the theater. Mel and Rob and the whole cast is just hitting it out of the park. They're going to be absolutely amazed by it.
And come more than once, because there's a lot that you'll catch the second time.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of detail.
I'd say, yeah, come the first weekend and then make reservations for the second weekend, because there are some things that you're going to be like, wait, I want to watch that again now. I just watched recently a movie that I'm like, oh, I need to go back and watch the movie again now that I know the ending. It was really good. The Power of the Dog on Netflix.
Oh,
yeah.
It was good. But Mel, have you seen it?
I watched it one time through, like really fast, doing some other stuff. And then I sat down and watched it again, and I was like, that's an amazing movie.
Yeah. Yes. I want to go back and be like, okay, I want to kind of, anyway. Agreed though, Rob. Everyone should come see our show more than once, for sure. Well, I appreciate you guys both being on our episode of Thursdays at 3 today. I know you guys have a lot going on in your weekday. Already we ask a lot of you for the evenings to come rehearse, but for you guys to be able to spend your afternoon with me and also host the show when my Wi-Fi goes out. Very much appreciated.
We got you, man. We got you.
Thank you. Mel, this might be a relative of yours, Bob Attaway. Maybe it's actually Rob. But great job, you guys. I love it.
That's my pops.
Nice. I love that he's Bob and you're Rob.
Well,
Rob's pops.
I may have to lead you through this, but he's Robert and I'm Robert. He's junior. I'm the third.
The truth comes out.
Robert Allen Attaway the third. That's a name right there.
That's a whiskey.
Move over, Pappy Van Winkle.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate you guys both. We'll have a great run through tonight. We'll add our crew tonight, which is going to be great. We'll add more elements every night. Those of you who are interested, get your tickets. I'm telling you right now, Murder on the Orient Express is going to be a phenomenal show for you guys. You're not going to want to miss it. January 20th through the 30th. Don't forget to be looking out for those emails, for those invitations in the mail, of course, about the cabaret experience. That'll be, of course, running February 11th and 12th. Cabaret tickets for members, you can get them right now. No, member tickets go on sale on Monday. Excuse me. So you get those February 3rd for the 3rd through the 20th. Don't forget Tuck auditions. Check out the website, download the packet, and sign up. Those auditions are the 16th and 17th. And be on the lookout to usher or work concession for Murder on the Orient Express. It's going to be a great time for you to get involved at ALT. We always say there's a place for you at ALT. It's the place to be. We would love for it to be your place as well. Thank you again, Rob and Mel, for being a part of not only the show, but Thursdays at 3 today. I hope everyone will have, in fact, I know for sure next week we will have Carrie Huckabee and Mr. Brooks Boyette, 2 more cast members. Maybe we can get some more also involved in next week's show, but I appreciate you guys both being available today, and we'll see you guys in just a little bit for rehearsal. Everyone else who's watching Thursdays at 3, we'll see you guys next week when it will be the preview performance date. It'll be January 20th next week, which will all be a buzz here at the theater because we'll be getting ready for the show. So everyone have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you guys at the theater. Thank you all very much.